a record 3,000 leaders from government, business and civil society are going to convene at the 48th I think it's the 48th, right, Garabo? It's the 48th World Economic Forum's annual meeting. And one of the initiatives of the World Economic Forum is the Global Shapers community, as social entrepreneurs are influential voice on the continent. We are joined by one of them today, Thoba Grenville-Grey, who is a senior associate with the Awetu project, but is here as a global shaper. I'm so jealous. Is it like, how do you become a global shaper?
It's something to put on your CV, isn't it? How did you manage that?
Well, you put yourself forward, you have a passion for your city, and we organize independently in city hubs, and we strive to kind of improve those cities. And every once in a while, one of the 7,000 of us around the 180 cities in the world gets selected to represent the voice of the youth at the Davos annual meeting.
Congratulations to you.
Thank you very much.
But you're trading beautiful sun, beautiful weather here, the beautiful people, to go to the icy slopes of Davos. You're going there with a clear mission. Why are you going there, and what's that mission as a young leader? So
when I attended in 2017, the mission that I was going to what I was trying to achieve at Davos was to speak on behalf of the unemployed youth of South Africa, the youth that I work on in terms of impact investing and trying to create opportunity for them. But at the same time was also to learn, to contribute to the perspectives of the conversation and make sure that not just South Africa is represented in a very European, Western world skewed conversation, but Africa in general was represented.
I read somewhere that by 2030, Africa will have the greatest youth population in the world. That is both a risk and a good prospect for the continent. But of course, it must be met by regulators who are ready to undertake that course, and they know what the youth will need in terms of, positioning economies for future gains. What are you going to tell regulators, legislators, civil society? What are you going to tell them that African youth, as yourselves, want them to, help to free the continent?
Well, I think that the topic of the World Economic Forum this year, which is about creating a shared future in a fractured world, has a lot of dynamics on, and part of youth unemployment is one of them. I think they're thinking about that through things like the topic on ensuring that there's agile governance in talking about technology and how to regulate technology and what the potential jobs that can come from technology and how you can have sustained economic growth. Because the key takeaway from going to the World Economic Forum was all actions have a result, even good actions. And it's not good enough to have good intentions and stop there. We have to analyze those actions and see how you can improve.
Thoba, I don't mean to put you under pressure, but we're talking about African leaders here who, in some countries, would rather opt to switch, to turn down Twitter. And this is not an age where you want to turn it off Twitter. It's an age of connectivity. So, I don't know, Africa has not quite been in a position where it looks at technology as a friend. It's always been a foe. So how do you get these guys to relax, drop your guard down? It's something you
don't have to worry about Zimbabwe's president. He's recently got an account.
Well, Garabo, actually, I would disagree with that statement that all African leaders are thinking about shutting down technology. I think that we've seen that there's certain leaders who are forward thinking about this. For instance, President Paul Kagame, last year at the World Economic Forum on a panel with the chairman of MTN, and actually it was facilitated by Bronwyn Nielsen, was speaking about how Rwanda has become the drone capital of the world. And by using policy, was able to shift this investor attention and to create an environment where some of the best companies in the world wanted to come and work in Africa. And at the same time, innovatively made the Minister of ICT also the Minister of Youth. And so I think that one thing we shouldn't talk ourselves down on is how innovatively we're thinking about leapfrogging these challenges. But this year, I think that the current global shaper representing South Africa will be able to speak on how we can do that given the increasing isolationism in the world. Because as Africa, we're experiencing all the global issues in the world, plus the historical legacies of the past.
And how are those conversations likely to play out? Because you're going to have big ears listening there. Our Deputy President is going there, Finance Minister Malusi Gigaba, likely his wife will be there as well. But you're going to have ears that can actually make changes to the policy that will make your job of being an impact investor more easier. So how's that conversation going to go?
Well, I think to actually speak about the Deputy President this morning, I was fortunate enough to be at the pre-Davos media briefing. And what I can say is that there's a pep in the Deputy President's step, and he's talking about the importance of compact building and ensuring that there's economic growth, ensuring that we have policy certainty, we stabilize our state-owned enterprises to solve for youth unemployment, for inequality, and for poverty. And I think that openness and stating that means that we're already there in terms of thinking, but I think that as South Africa, we also need to listen and understand that there's other countries suffering from the same challenges and how we can collaborate. Because World Economic Forum is about creating a platform for this private-public partnership and collaboration.
Thoba, I can't let you go without touching on something that's real, and you spoke about impact investing, and I know you have a relationship with our Way To project where you guys literally try and cultivate future entrepreneurs. How's that program going? Can you give us a little bit of an update?
Sure. So I think that at the Way To project, the goal is to find a way to solve for inequality using the innovative tools of finance that we have. And as of late, what we've been doing is been investing in more sophisticated businesses and acknowledging that a lot of South Africa's supply chain needs transformation and figuring out the ways to solve that. I think this is a challenge that a lot of countries are facing, and in South Africa we have the unique context of policy as a tailwind to be able to do that. And I think that this is something that will continue to be spoken about at the World Economic Forum, and actually at the World Economic Forum for Africa and at the Shape Africa, where the Global Shapers will be hosting our own mini Davos in Johannesburg in May later this year, in terms of how we can actually use the tools that we have beyond innovative finance, just the forward-thinking mentalities we have, the intelligent people that we have in our country to solve these challenges of inequality.